Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Ashish. I am the founder and CEO of MASH Project Foundation. Uh, Today is a very special day. We are having a very interesting panel discussion on a topic which is something I am personally very, very passionate about on how do we create financial independence for our women, Azadi from financial dependence. This initiative is a part of our partnership with Dailyhunt and MASH, which we are doing as celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the 75 glorious years of independence of our dear country. So today's topic, we have such great panelists and such amazing leaders who are representing very different aspects of the work they have done for women empowerment and especially on financial literacy, financial empowerment through financial means. So I won't take a lot of time and I'll directly jump into the conversation. So I'd like to introduce our panelists. First, I have Kanta Singh ji. She is the deputy country representative of UN Women. Welcome, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Then I have Chetna Galasena ji, who is the founder of Mandeshi Bank and Mandeshi Mahila Foundation, and she's the coach. She has been the co-chair of World Economic Forum and also has been a Yale World Fellow. Good afternoon, ma'am. Namaste.
Namaste. Good afternoon.
And I would also like to congratulate you, ma'am, as you complete 25 years of Mandeshi. So very, very special day. Next, we have Pritha Dutt ji, who's the CEO of Empower Foundation. Hi, Pritha.
Namaskar.
Namaste, and thanks for joining. Next, we have Siddhika Agarwal, who's the co-founder of Mahila Money.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hi, Sadika. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining. Then we have Anupam Sribhaya. He's the Chief of HR and Admin at Bajaj Finance. And we have Alka Raza ji, who is the Chairperson of Center for Gender Equality and Inclusive Leadership at XLRI Institute. Hi. Namaste, Alka ji. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm able to join now.
Great. Good to see you. Thank you so
I'd
much,
like
all
to
of you, for
have
joining. Anupam, sir, we can't see you in case your camera is off. If you try to switch on your camera. Okay, great. I think there's so much that we could learn and take away from today's panel discussion. So, without spending more time, I would like if each one of you can take a minute and tell us a little bit about the work that you are doing now. And I'm sure there's so much work that has happened over the years also. And since today we are talking about 75 years of India's independence, so we'll also like to learn from you in your work, in your journeys. How have you seen India has progressed over the years? And we'll also touch upon different aspects on the next 25 years when we will be celebrating 100th years of our independence. So what all we can do to make that progress even smoother, faster, and empower more and more women. So I would like first in the order of that panel, Kantaji, you to begin first, please.
Thank you, Ashish, and congratulations for organizing such wonderful events where we get to meet Chitra ma'am and other speakers. So, congratulations, ma'am, for completing 25 glorious years. सभी को सबसे पहले तो स्वतंत्रता दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं. We have come a long way, Ashish, in terms of women's empowerment. I would also like to salute the women who have been able to contribute a lot to help us reach here where we are sitting today. And in a panel of six, and five are women, I think it says a lot about where we have come. So I would like to thank those women who have worked very hard without being acknowledged, without being recognized, and without me or anybody else showing that we really care for what they have done for us. So again, thank you. See, we've come a long way, definitely, in terms of women's empowerment. Last 75 years have been very, very critical for all of us, including women. Our constitution is one of the most progressive documents in the world. It gave us equal rights in every sphere. Most of the countries are still fighting for those basic rights which we got through our constitution. So we have a lot to thank for, number one. Secondly, of course, there are gaps because of the social norms, the way our society works. Women are expected to play different roles than men. And as a result, men have benefited more and women have been left behind. And that's why we are still, after 75 years, we're still talking about the issues that won't have or should not have been there if we were all to benefit from the constitution the way it was written in the same spirit. The most wonderful thing about the constitution is, Ashish, that it also gives the right to lawmakers to bring in legislation or for affirmative action if they feel that some categories of people are left behind. And here, not only women, but many other segments of the society have been left behind because of the unequal power sharing amongst people. So we have a lot to work for. We also have a lot to thank for, and I'm sure with people like Chetna ma'am and Rita and many others, Alkaji, Siddika and Anupam, there are thousands and thousands of other people who are working to bring women at power. Um, I think we will reach there sooner or later. I'll stop here, but I'll come back.
Sure, ma'am. No, I think thank you so much. I think you summed up very well that there is so much work is happening, so much progress is happening, but we need to like make more people aware of this. I think, and how we can really touch and bring more people is what we need. मैं इतना मैम आपके पास आना चाहूँगा. आपने इतने सालों में इतना काम किया and personally for young people like us, we really look up to you, ma'am. So we really great to hear from you. How have you seen India's progress in the last these years?
Thanks, Ashish, and congratulate you for on this eve of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We have organized this. Not only, I would say, like panel, but it's more about celebrating ourselves and at the same time creating an opportunity for the people who have been excluded. So I do so thankful for and my humble presence here. I'm very glad in middle of all the eminent panelists. मुझे आज एक तो सबसे बड़ा अभिमान इस बात का हो रहा है आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव पे कि हमारे देश के नेताओं ने जो नींव रखी वो इस तरीके की नींव रखी महात्मा ने कि हम महिलाओं को कभी वोट के अधिकार नहीं मांगने पड़े, हमें तो वो मिल ही गया। यानी ये सबसे बड़ी बात है भारत जैसे देश में कि 75 साल हम आज आजादी को सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, लेकिन शुरू से ही एक इक्वल, जैसे कांता जी ने बताया कि वी वर इक्वली कंसिडर्ड इन फ्रंट ऑफ इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, तो उसका बहुत अभिमान है। और उस बात का बहुत ये जो महात्मा जिन्होंने लीड किया देश को उस वक्त और इतना बड़ा विजन रखा। नाउ आई एम कमिंग बैक टू लाइक व्हाट आई मीन, आप जैसे बताया कि वी हैव कंप्लीटेड 25 years of मानदेशी बैंक, 25 years of our business school for rural women, and 15 years of our community radio. I'm so humbled, and I would just like to say that, we keep hearing the stories of how women have left behind. But I just want to share with everyone that when I left Mumbai, I came and worked in the villages, and I was inspired by Jayaprakash Narayan. I traveled with him around India in the villages of India. He used to call youth like you, Ashish, to work in the villages. And what did I see there? कि इन महिलाओं को कभी मौका ही नहीं मिला स्कूल में जाने का, हाई स्कूल तो सवाल ही नहीं। And when still they said we want to do savings, and जब बैंक्स ने मना किया तो हमारी महिलाएं आई और उन्होंने, और मुझे लगा कि अगर बैंक्स उनका खाता नहीं खोलती हैं तो क्यों नहीं हम लोग महिलाओं की बैंक खड़ी करें। मैंने हजारों बार ये बात शेयर की होगी, लेकिन मैं थकती नहीं हूँ। I feel like sharing it so many times that when the RBI denied the license, our women said that we didn't go to school. But that does not mean we cannot read and write, but we can count. And they said that, tell us to calculate the interest of any principal amount. We will not fail. We'll give you the answer, but tell your officers to do without calculator and see who can calculate faster. Needless to say that we got the banking license. But while giving this challenge, what does it show? It shows that these are the women who want to grab opportunities, who want to actually develop themselves, who want to take their families together. So I would just like to say that with all this, today I'm so proud that Mandeshi will be celebrating from 23 to 24 the year, impacting 1 million women entrepreneurs. We have reached already 850,000 women, and I'm so proud of them using digital banking, mobile banking. And so with this, I would say that I have learned so much from these women. And one thing I always say, when we set up the bank, when we set up the business school, when our women are operating, who have never been to the school, but they are radio jockey and operating the radio in rural India, तब ऐसा लगता है कि मेरी गांव की महिलाएं वो क्या बताती हैं। They are saying that never underestimate village people, never underestimate poor people. These people are smart, and never give poor solutions to poor people. So with this, I would just say that I'm so proud that I have learned these lessons from the women who couldn't get an opportunity to go to school, but they actually give me an opportunity to go and coach at Davos in World Economic Forum. Thank you.
Absolutely, ma'am. And I think it's a great matter of pride for us as like a fellow Indian and a fellow young Indian that we have such great role models like you, and it feels so much inspirations for you. So thank you so much, ma'am. And again, a big congratulations for all these amazing work that you have done in these years, and especially this year, like you've talked about, you will empower more than 1 million women entrepreneurs. So we really look forward to that, and we'll definitely would like to support you in this initiative as well. Now I'll go to Pritha. Pritha, over to you. How do you see this journey? What's your experience been?
The first thing, and Ashish, I mean, it's not just a wonderful panel, and this is true of women, सिर्फ हमारे देश की नहीं, कहीं पे भी ये जो मेरे साथ हमारे साथ अभी चेतना जी हैं, कांता, अलका, सिद्दिका, as women we are far more, I think, helpful, collaborative, and willing to participate in each other's success than men are. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I'm as much, मेरे को लग रहा है कि चेतना जी ने जो बात किया वो जैसे लग रहा है it's my happiness, or what Kanta talks about. I think that's a wonderful thing women do. And Anupam, no offense meant to you. तो ये हमारा एक बहुत बड़ा quality है. And I think this is something especially of Indian women, और हमारा काम जो है, आशीष आपको थोड़ा मालूम ही है, हम टियर 2 टियर 3 में काम करते हैं फॉर हेल्पिंग विमेन बिकम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स. हमारा काम अभी बहुत छोटा ही है, बट ये जो हमने देखा है दैट द हंगर, the drive, the wanting to punch their weight much more than they are able to, अगर उनको थोड़े बहुत support मिल जाए, and it's far more. I mean, yes, there are challenges है, limitation है, कहीं पे हमको मालूम है, societal norms है, financial funding की issue है, training वगैरह नहीं मिलता है, लेकिन थोड़ा सा support and they are able to come. And I feel टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटीज में थोड़ा ज्यादा ही हंगर है, तो हमारा काम वो है. आई मूव्ड फ्रॉम इन द कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर 20 साल करके, बट 20 साल हो गए हैं वेयर आई हैव बीन वर्किंग इन दिस सेक्टर. तो हम लिटरेसी में भी काम करते हैं एंड स्किल में भी काम करते हैं, लेकिन पैशन इज to get women to set up their enterprise. चाहे छोटा शुरू करें, लेकिन सपना है बहुत बड़ा. और ये मेरे को ये 75 years में ये लगता है, I see much more hunger and drive कि आगे हम भी बढ़ें. So that is what I would like to say, Ashish.
Beautiful, ma'am. Very nicely put there. And in the truly sense, I think little work that I have done in tier 2, tier 3, I think it gives a lot more hope, lot more confidence that the next 25, 75 and many more years are going to be even more glorious for our nation, and there is so much hunger potential to do more. So great, and again congratulations to you as well for all the great work that Empower has been doing, and very happy to be working also with you in this endeavor. I'll come to Siddhika now. Siddhika, tell us about a little bit about your work, your journey, and also with Mahila Money, I'm sure there is a lot of great innovative work that you are doing. So yes.
Thanks, Ashish. And, I must first just say I feel so humbled to be in this esteemed company of Chetna ma'am and Kanta ma'am and, Pritha, Alka, Anupam. Like, this is a panel like this doesn't come together so often, and you don't have your role models on a panel where you're chatting with them. So, ma'am Chetna, big congratulations on Mandeshi doing the fabulous work that they've been doing. And, Ashish, you said, what have we been proud of in the last 75 years? It's exactly this kind of work that pushes us. And this generation, I'm like a whole different generation here. And it's the work of all of these brilliant women that gets us to say, hey, this legacy needs to continue. We need to take this forward, right? And Mahila Money is a tiny initiative in that direction. We started off as Sheroes, which is an internet community for women, and we have more than 22 million women on the app. And while serving them, we realized, there are women across the country, and not just your metropolitans, but 50% of the country's population is women, right? And they're not all living in your metropolitans. So the larger part of the country, which is your tier 2, tier 3, semi-urban India, that's where the women are. And we're not creating many jobs for them. They're not getting out of their homes to do these jobs. So the one route that stays for them is entrepreneurship. What can I do from my home? What can I do to earn that money? And that woman is the woman that we're supporting at Mahila Money and saying that, hey, be it your financial literacy, be it business literacy, be it how do you become a better entrepreneur, how do you start a new business, how do you fund yourself, how do you separate your business savings, your business finances from your personal finances. That's everything that we're bringing through the whole initiative of digital banking onto a woman's smartphone to make it more accessible and more conveniently, adoptive for her. That's really what we're doing at Mahila Money. And honestly, we're very proud of having launched last year in November, and we're already seeing more than 1 lakh women having downloaded the phone, downloaded the app. And we've had the fortune of working with Empower Foundation and supporting women who you wouldn't even believe. Like, these are women who are, doing glass painting, and they're welding metal and creating, artifacts and handicrafts, and their pickle business and papad business. And you're just like, hey, there's so much that the women in this country want to do. It just, how do we make sure we're standing right beside them, not behind them, but beside them, and saying, we will do this together. So that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant, Siddhika. More power to you and the entire team. And like Pritha said, there's so much hunger, so much potential. Definitely, there's so much growth. I'll come to Alka first, and then Anupam, I'll come to you. And then let's hear from you, Alka, uh, quickly about your work and your thoughts. Yeah.
Good afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, my heartfelt congratulations to MASH and Dailyhunt for organizing this such a wonderful program on the occasion of 75th anniversary of independence of India, Amrit Mahotsav. Now, the problem is when so many people have spoken, there's nothing left to speak. But still, I have to say something because I have been part of this. I have been a journalist by profession, and I'm a die-hard mass communication person. I lived in many countries, being part of the UN family. My husband was working. So I got a chance to see many countries from very close distance. And being a journalist, I saw the war, I saw the civil wars, I saw the suffering of women. And then about 10, 12 years ago, we came back to India, and I came back to live in a village in our ancestral home. And I established a small social development program. Basically, it was dealing with the Women Empowerment Center, income generation, health care, scholastic support, etc., etc. We always hear that the soul of India lives in the village or rural India. I am living that. Whatever I learned, lived overseas, a life of, whatever you want to call it. I did not learn all that, what I have learned in the past 10 years with my village friends. And while doing the program, what they have told, the village wisdom, the village knowledge, the traditional, they're the custodians of the knowledge and how to keep the community together, that was really rewarding for me to come back. Coming back to XLRI in my current position, the XLRI opened this Center for Gender Equality and Inclusive Leadership 2021 March. It was born during the COVID time, so it has slow growth. But it is the only business school in India which attempted to start something to talk about the gender equality and inclusive and diversity, etc., etc. Now we have been starting in a very full manner because after the COVID is over, we are between corporate world and the social sector. I don't like to get social sector. I want to call it informal sector. And we are trying to be a bridge. We are trying to build up like a think tank. What India can do in terms of, not India, we can do as people of India to bring the gender equality in the economic workforce, because we are doing so bad. If I can give quickly a few statistics which came only a week ago, I mean, Kanta Singh will be very happy to vouch for that also, that out of 146 countries, we are right now at 135 at the gender gap. In the health and the survival, we are at the last of the ladder. So we are talking about the 75 years of journey. Where this journey has taken, we are in the front of us, that how we are doing it right now. I will also say one more fact that in 2012, we were doing at the 98, we were at the letter 98, so we are sliding down and down and down. And when we are looking at the things from the urban angle, and the things which are happening in the rural area, it's a two different realities. I would like to say one more fact that 76% of women in India are living in the rural sector, and 58% of livelihood of India is coming from the agriculture industry, which is being run through women basically. So 75% there are a lot of things, as the other panelists have said, that we did not have to fight for our rights. It was given, guaranteed in the Constitution. But how it has reached to the people, especially the women, that's a question should be debated for today. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Alkaji. Thanks for putting those facts together. That also gives a good direction where we want to take this discussion forward. But before we do that, let's hear from Anupam. Anupam, your thoughts, your views, and yes, please.
So I'm really the odd man out in this panel, but I'm very proud to be and honored to be among such fabulous and the kind of work that the panel has done in the field, not only women in other ways, is really remarkable. I've been fortunate to have heard a couple of sessions of Chetna ma'am in several conferences, and I've been very impressed, and it's really a delight that I'm with you on this panel, ma'am, today. A couple of thoughts I want to start off by saying, and I don't have the kind of width of experiences you have in this field. I would just want to table personal experiences on this. One, uh, my mother used to be a teacher before I was born. I'm 54. So this was 67, she started teaching. In a way, very independent woman, thought in the way. So I've been fortunate to have been brought up in a house where these thoughts were really encouraged. All my cousin sisters work, they've been encouraged to be independent in many ways. And that's the family background I come from. And they've been very fortunate to be in that kind of family. Second is, about 10, 12 years back, I was in a company called Center for Creative Leadership. And along with IFAD, we're doing some work. And in that part of that work, I visited villages in Maharashtra because they were working with self-help groups in the smaller villages. And mainly the villages where 50% poverty or people were more than 50% people were under poverty. And of course, SHG were primarily women groups. The conversation we had with people who have been impacted by this initiative has left a mark on me in the sense, one lady said, look, the way the husband or the family male members and the village community treats me today is different. Because today I'm financially independent. I have a voice, a respect, and acknowledgement. That is because of what I'm doing today. And that's the remarkable thing. IFA technically was given a very small financial independence, but it's also given them training and opportunity for them to step out and do a few things. So that's the other exposure for me for the power of women entrepreneurship, the power of supporting financially. And that's the reason I think this subject really excites me. I've touched upon women leadership in different ways. CCL does a lot of research in this area. Most of us have heard about this word called glass ceiling. It came from the research in 80s about the invisible glass ceiling women leaders face in a corporate setting. I would say today is that this unfortunate glass ceiling possibly exists in families also. आप ये कर सकते हैं, आप ये नहीं कर सकते. This is right for you and this is not right for you. And we don't realize that this is, there's a saying that it takes a community or a village to grow a child. It also takes a village to see to it these wrong notions are not put in a child. And maybe the starting point is a girl child. So I have, I can go on because it's a part of my passion. Last piece I will talk about is that some of the work, and I don't want to make a corporate pitch here, but just to share that some experience again, is that the Bajaj Finance Group actually runs, FinServ Group runs a certificate program in banking, finance, and insurance as part of this CSI initiative. What I want to call out is we are touching 10,000 lives in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns, which are graduate students. What is remarkable is 67% of participation is coming from women students, female students. And I think that's the sign for all of us to realize that the women are coming out of shadows. And if they get the right support at different levels, I think we can really transform this country and the way women can come up along the path as we go along. A very cliched saying, we are talking about Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We hope that we also get this Azadi that women get. The financial independence we call, they also get that as we go forward. Lots of things to be done, many things achieved. That's what my sense of is.
Thank you so much, Anupamji. I think you also kind of highlighted some of the important issues that we face, and I'll now go to the panel. Given we don't have a lot of time, that's also the kind of challenge as a moderator than when you have such a eminent panel and you have so many important topics. So how do you do justice to this discussion? So what I was thinking, maybe I'll break it in a way. We'll pick up like one or two big areas which we can focus on, because we would want some key takeaways, because our audience is also a lot of young people, young change makers who are doing something, who want to do something. So this discussion should leave them inspired with some clear action points. And of course, a lot of women, with Dailyhunt, we are reaching in tier 2, tier 3 audience. So they should see like how can they really use some of these discussions. So I was thinking like we can go to each of the panelists, and if you can highlight few things that you think which are very important issues, and around that what can be done or what we can do. So we have like 6 of you. So even if like we have 3 to 5 minutes per person, I think we can cover at least something. Otherwise I just feel like it would be a challenge. We'll also be more mindful next time when we do maybe a discussion like this, maybe a different format. But I still feel in those 4 5 minutes also there will be so much that we can take away. And in between, agar beech mein koi question aata hai audience se, so I'll definitely ask, right? uh, so I'll come to Kanta ma'am, to you, given I know you have worked over the years with so many institutions in the UN system, and of course with the government partners, civil society partners. So, and in your now new role as the deputy country representative for UN Women, right? Tell us something. What are some of the key issues which we are facing with the financial independence for women that we see, and where do you see what we can do at policy level, and of course at individual levels, right?
Thank you, Ashish. As Anupam said, I'll start with what Anupam said. It starts with the family, but the we are giving slightly too much importance to the family. I've seen family norms changing in a day. So I think we need to start working with where we are today. And I'll go back to where I come from, Haryana. I come from a village in Haryana. After Commonwealth Games of 2010, 200 akharas came up for girls, for kushti, for wrestling. Where did the social norms go there? Within 10 days, parents were, particularly fathers and brothers, were taking their sisters for wrestling. So social norms change when there are benefits. And this is exactly what I wanted to talk about, that once a girl earns her salary for 3 months, उसके पेरेंट्स भी, वो सोसाइटी भी, वो सब पीछे रह जाते हैं. It just has to get started from there. प्रॉब्लम है, मैं मानती हूँ, जो अनुपम ने कहा, घर से शुरू होता है, लेकिन घर चेंज भी होता है. और उसकी बात ये है कि हम लड़कियों को तैयार करते हैं शादी के लिए और लड़कों को तैयार करते हैं करियर के लिए. वो थोड़ा स्विच होने की आवश्यकता है. वो आजकल जितनी भी लड़कियां बाहर हिम्मत करके निकल रही हैं घर से बाहर काम करने को, वो वही काम कर रही हैं कि पड़ोस की लड़की अगर जाके अगर हाउसकीपिंग में काम करती है ताज होटल में, दूसरी लड़कियां देखती हैं कि कम से कम 5 स्टार में तो बैठी है वो दिन भर. दे डोंट सी कि वो टॉयलेट में क्लीन कर रही है, वो फिर पैसा लेके आती है, वो प्रॉपरली ड्रेस्ड है. इट हैज बिकम एस्पिरेशनल. सो and I have not seen girls backing out anywhere. Given an opportunity, they would not disappoint you. That is my experience in life. So that means अवसर की सिर्फ बात है. मैंने एक छोटी सी कविता लिखी थी, मैं कहना चाहूंगी यहाँ उसको, कि जब मैं छोटी थी कि सोचा था तासा गाऊंगी, सोचा था लतासा गाऊंगी, पीटी उषा बन जाऊंगी, अगर अवसर की सीमा ना हो तो देश बदलना चाहूंगी, यहाँ कदम कदम पर खतरा है, बढ़ने की आजादी ही नहीं. सो जो अनुपम ने कहा बात कि ये सही है, फैमिली से शुरू होता है, लेकिन फैमिली को चिंता है उस लड़की की सेफ्टी की. फैमिली को चिंता है कि लड़की को बाहर जाके कोई परेशानी ना हो, कोई छेड़खानी ना हो, बिकॉज हम ही तो साथ रहते हैं ना. और हम में से अगर 2 लोग हैं, लड़के और लड़कियां, और एक की जिम्मेदारी है कि अपने आप को ठीक रखे, लेकिन दूसरा अपने राइट से बढ़ के लड़कियों के राइट्स को ले रहा है, तो कहीं सोचने की बात है. उसको क्या हक है किसी लड़की को चलती हुई को छेड़ने का, बताइए. सो मैं इसको आई टेक इट एज अ मैटर ऑफ राइट that girls have equal rights to realize their financial dreams. It is very, very critical for 3 things, Ashish. One, for themselves, because they have equal dreams and sometimes better dreams. I had dream of working in the UN. I'm sitting here today. अगर इतने ही रोड़े अटकाए जाते तो नहीं पहुंचते ना। दूसरी बात है, ये घर के लिए, कम्युनिटी के लिए बहुत अच्छा है कि लड़कियां फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट हों, क्योंकि ये सारे समाज के लिए अच्छी बात है कि इक्वल वर्ल्ड है, वो किसी के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं है। एक किसी को आप लाद के चलिए अपने कंधे पे, अरे एक बराबर में चल रहा है, दोनों में बहुत फर्क है। लेकिन उससे भी जरूरी बात यह है कि देश के लिए बहुत जरूरत है कि देश की 100% टैलेंट पूल में से हम लोगों को चुने, ना कि 50% में से। अभी हम 50% में से चूज कर रहे हैं, तो टैलेंट भी वैसा ही मिलेगा। That's how you see that. I don't want to name, but then एक लेटर टाइप करने में आपको 3 दिन लगते हैं. If you bring in the best talents to work, the country will flourish. The 5 trillion economy that we're talking about cannot be achieved unless 100% population contributes to them. And आखिरी बात, girls and women are willing to do their part. They're actually willing to do triple the work than what they are expected to do. वो घर में नहीं रहना चाहती, वो काम करना चाहती हैं, फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट होना चाहती हैं, अपने सपने पूरे करना चाहती हैं. And there's a lot of attention that we need to pay to their dreams. And it is a collective responsibility, and we need to help them do that. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much. I think, ma'am, you touched a very interesting thing, aspirational and creating role models, right? When you are in a community, you see people doing so, you also are inspired to do so. We also need to celebrate such stories at a more community level and give more wings to the dreams. Thanks a lot for touching upon. I'll come to Chetna ji. चेतना जी, आप थोड़ा सा कौन से की विषय हैं जिनको आपको लगता है कि वी नीड टू फोकस फॉर द नेक्स्ट फ्यू इयर्स एंड हाउ कैन वी डू दैट? यस,
Sure. जब हम लोग बैंक चलाते हैं, और मैं ऐसे, प्रीता ने जैसे विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स की बात की, एंड सिद्धिका, एक्चुअली देयर आर सो मेनी विमेन लाइक who look forward to the young women like you, right, in that way. तो मैं जब गांव में देखती हूँ ना, तो बहुत बार ये लगता है कि कितनी सारी महिलाएं आगे आती हैं, उनको बिजनेस शुरू करना है, एंटरप्राइज शुरू करना है, प्रीता। और जब ये आगे आती हैं तो मानदेशी बैंक जैसी बैंक है उनको कैपिटल देती हैं। और हमने एक बहुत इस बार मतलब पिछले साल से शुरू किया कि डावोस ने एक स्टडी किया कि जेंडर गैप जो है, वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम ने स्टडी किया कि जेंडर गैप क्लोज करने को कितना टाइम लगेगा। और उस स्टडी का रिजल्ट ये था कि इट विल टेक 135 years to close the gender gap. Now when I discussed this with our women and I said, do you want to wait for that long? And our women said, no, we want to close that gap in our own generation. तो वो कैसे होगा? And then our women said that हम लोग सिर्फ we won't only start our enterprise, but we will create jobs so that gap can be reduced. How would they create jobs? तो बहुत सारी महिलाओं ने बताया कि we want to scale our business. It's not just starting our enterprise, right? But scaling the enterprise. How do you do that? Because if I'm making paper cups and paper plate per day 500, how would I do 5,000? So we said, why don't we make one thing that the drive for machinery for women-owned business? And that's what we did. And that's how we designed our banking product, credit product, that you get hypothecation loan to buy a new machine for your business. And you'll be surprised, Ashish, I'm so proud to share with you that just in last 1 year, more than 15,000 women set up their machinery and scaled their business. And everyone was actually creating the jobs for more than 5 women. Am I there? Yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that every woman was creating job for other women. And that's how I would say, when Ashish was saying that what are the key message, अमृत महोत्सव के वक्त मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी कि हमारी महिलाएं मशीन तो आसानी से चलाएंगी, उनके बिजनेस तो बड़े करेगी, सिर्फ जरूरत है एक मौके की। उनको अगर मशीन चलाने का मौका दिया जाए, उनको स्कूल का मौका नहीं मिला, कॉलेज का मौका नहीं मिला, इंजीनियर बनने का मौका नहीं मिला, लेकिन हमारी महिलाएं कहती है कि वी कैन बी अ मैन्युफैक्चरर, वी कैन प्रोवाइड द जॉब्स एंड वी विल क्लोज दिस जेंडर गैप. And you know what, I will just end with this, that when women talk about it, they say ki bank will provide the capital, but we will come with courage, and courage and capital together, we will close the gender gap.
Wow, couldn't be a better, combination. Courage and a capital can do wonders. So very, very inspiring. And thank you again for, sharing your thoughts. Ma'am, ma'am, one small question I have, again, because time हमारे पास कम है and it'll be might be difficult to come back to you. What can young people of our country play in role in empowering more women? When you're talking about, one is giving an opportunity, right? But हमारा काम बहुत सारे युवाओं के साथ होता है, and a lot of them have great ideas, a lot of them are also very passionate about doing something. So ma'am, how do you see the role of young people in this entire place? Because that is something we like to take back with our community as well.
Very much. So Ashish, देखिए, in lots of villages, everywhere, women want to be on the digital platform, right?
Right.
And all young people are so smart. I mean, Siddhika is here. So, and our women also want to. So, मैं simple एक example देती हूँ कि हर there is a weekly market takes place in all over India, right? वो हाट होता है, हर हफ्ते में हाट लगता है. जो जानवर, I'm giving you an example that we have a weekly market of animals also, where women come and men come and sell the animals, छोटे बड़े जानवर, ये हर चीज में. Can we not create a digital animal market? अगर वो होता है तो there is no, I mean, borders खत्म, blur हो जाएंगी. People will be able to sell it. So I see that the young people are so smart in digital, in e-commerce. So mentoring these women and entrepreneurs. तो women owned enterprise को अगर young लोगों से mentoring मिला तो उससे बड़ी बात और क्या हो सकती है, right? So I think young people can be mentored in digitalization, and the journey of digitalization of women can really be enhanced.
Thank you so much. I think that's a great opportunity. It's all about bridging that gap. So we'll love to speak to you on more on this and how we can bring more young people in this whole process. So Pritha, I'll come to you now. Tell us something key issues that you've been seeing in the work, and how do you see in the next 25 years, what kind of work we can do to progress on those areas?
So, every issue जो हम महिलाओं के बारे में बताते हैं is also an opportunity. So let's say, and as a woman, and all of us have faced this, we play multiple roles. We are a mother, we are a mother-in-law, we are a daughter, we are a wife. And that may sometimes be a hindrance, चाहे आप wage employment कर रहे हैं, चाहे आप business कर रहे हैं. Instead of fighting that, here is an opportunity. Why not embrace all of it? And it just requires that, तो ये, and especially true of tier 2, tier 3 cities, जहाँ पे आपके सपने शायद, this might become an issue. There are ways in which this can be kind of handled. And aspiration is just a matter of, like Kanta said, थोड़ा सा, inspiration और थोड़ा सा courage. हमारे, in our experience, I've had women from small place in Hapur, चाहे वो अपना शुरू किया है tailoring, today she's selling wedding gowns. I mean, who could have imagined that from a village in Hapur, her aspiration is now वो wedding gowns, because demand and desire of the women also have changed. वो साड़ी लहंगा के बदले wedding gowns पहन रही हैं. Or this woman in Saharanpur, she wants to beat Mahashedi Hatti. वो कह रही है कि मेरा जो मसाला बिजनेस होगा वो मैं अगर वो इस साल पे वो कर सकें तो आई एम गोइंग टू बी ब्रेकिंग दैट ग्लास सीलिंग. और दिस वुमन जिन्होंने इन मुरादाबाद इज opened a sweet shop, she wants to export globally. तो ये, and they've all done it playing multiple roles. तो एक तो है, अगर ये issue है, it is also possible to embrace that. And I think what Chetna said right now, मेरे को digital divide नहीं, मेरे को digital bridge लगता है. I think they have taken to digital, even if they are not literate. आप देखिए Instagram कितनी जल्दी सीख गए हैं. आप देखिए अगर access to phone भी नहीं है, smartphone, we have had examples where 3-4 महिलाएं मिलके लिसन टू सिद्दिका's सेशंस ऑन महिला मनी. तो उनके हर एक के पास नहीं है, but they have figured out how to bridge the digital divide. So and the digital this thing becomes an important liberating force as well. So ये सपना भी है, वो they have to play their roles, multiple roles, celebrate that. I think digital is not a divide, it's not an issue. I think it's an opportunity. वो तरह तरह का they are able to find means. और मेरे को लगता है if we can put all of this together, and we are trying to do something like that, Ashish, a platform which is for tier 2, tier 3 women, जहाँ पे आप जैसे चेतना से mentoring मिल सकता है, not just business, but उनका different other roles भी कैसे handle करें. अगर घर का भी problem है तो उसे that can become an issue. How can a mentor help me with understanding or even listening to me? और उसके बाद मैं कैसे उसको संभालूं? How can I get business advice? How can I get training? How can I get financing and funding even beyond? और मालूम है हमारे पास बहुत सारी स्कीम्स है अभी राइट नाउ, लोन्स भी है, मुद्रा भी है, लेकिन फिर भी इशू है because women का one issue is access to property or collateral, and there are different models. बहुत सारी और मॉडल्स आ सकती. Why not equity in such business? Why not ordinary people saying I would like to invest in some of these business? सच में कई कई बिजनेस ऐसा है कि मेरे को खुद लगता है मेरे पास थोड़े और पैसे होते I will and I will. So this is what I feel is another area. तो ये जो प्लेटफॉर्म, डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म that we are setting up, मेरा बिजनेट, हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि इस तरह की महिलाओं को हम especially tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, we are able to provide them a platform. तो जो issues हैं उसको हम opportunity में बदल दें. That's what I feel.
Very great. I think, Pritha, very well, you said that, bigger the problem is also the bigger opportunity. It's all only how we see that, right? And I think that's the message we would want to give on this Independence Day, that as bigger problems we are seeing, there's also a very bigger opportunity to really create impact and create value for everyone out there. So, Siddhika, would love to hear your thoughts. And I think you're doing, like I said, some very interesting work with Mahila Money. So tell us a little bit what opportunities you see that are out there.
Yeah, I think, I'm going to answer these in three parts. There's a macro, there is the policy level, what we can do with the regulators, because there's a huge scope, huge opportunity there. And then the community, and then the self, right? Like there are three different parts of how we can really look at this a little more holistically. And when Mandeshi started, when a lot of our there used to be a Mahila bank that got subsumed into the SBI way back in 2016-17, there is a genuine need to relook and revisit the financial products that exist in the country today, to be able to make them more accessible and adapted by women. And I'll give you very tiny examples to even just kind of shed light on this. When you ask a woman to give her KYC, it's important to give a Aadhaar or an address proof where she stays, right? If this woman's living in a rented house, for instance, I'll take myself. I live in a rented house. I have no document that says I live in this house. The contract is not in my name. The electricity bill is not in my name. How do I prove I live here? Does that mean I don't exist? How do you therefore change KYC norms and use digital, just like the way Pritha said, right? Digital is not a divide. Digital is something that you can adapt and you can leverage, and you can really make a lot of opportunity, a lot of challenges, turn that into opportunities. Similarly, we're talking about entrepreneurship. Not every woman is starting out and going and registering her business. She's not going and applying for an MSME certificate. She's not going and, getting a PAN card for a business. Now, as a business loan, you can't get a business loan till the time you don't have a business registration, right? Therefore, she's taking a personal loan and repurposing that as a business loan. What does that mean for her credit report? Every bureau ranks a personal loan differently than what you rank a business loan. So it's impacting her credit score at the end of the day, right? How do you therefore make capital, which is so hard for this woman to come by in the current setup, more accessible for her. So at the regulatory level, Ashish, there are a bunch of things that we can do together to really make financial products a lot more accessible for women, because there is huge opportunity. And like everyone on the panel is saying, there is no dearth of courage and openness and the ability to want to do something. So now it's up to us. How do we provide that that security net and that access to everything to make her achieve her dream? So that's at a macro level. At a very community level, we as a country and as a society believe in community living, right? We've seen your Anganwadi workers, you have a panchayat system. In the more urban cities, you have kitty party groups. As you go higher and higher, there are all forms of community living, right? And we thrive in community setups. So look at the microfinance world. One of the most important parts of microfinance is because of a community living, these women are flourishing. All of those 10 women, 12 women in an SHG, when they're looking at each other, they're feeding off each other's aspirations, motivations, just the amount of knowledge that every person brings in that. So as a community, we need to stand by each other more. We need to support each other more. It needs to stop becoming an us versus them game. It's all of us together, right? And what I mean by that is, Kanta ma'am earlier said that home scenarios change, and we've seen that. We've seen that time and again, where once a woman came to us and said, "Hey, I want 10,000 rupees. My husband doesn't support me, but I know the minute I start earning money out of this 10,000 rupees I'm borrowing from you, he will stand by my side, right? He will see that I'm pitching in." That mindset, I just wish it didn't have to be that way, right? I wish that we could all understand that if we're contributing to the household income, we're all raising our standard of living, and eventually, we're all contributing to the GDP of the country and making this country a far more beautiful place to live in. So, at a community level, we all need to become a lot more collaborative. We need to shed this us versus them game. Chitam said it very, very nicely before, that you don't give poor solutions to poor people. These people aren't even poor. We're not talking about poor people. We're talking about people living in tier 2, tier 3 cities who have access to phones, right? This is just saying, hey, let's all do this together, because we all have aspirations. How do we really support that aspiration, mentor each other, learn from each other's experiences, and therefore build that community living to a much larger, much stronger effect, right? And then comes the third part, the self, the me. What am I doing every day to motivate myself? How do I not be scared? How do I take that first step? Because I can keep thinking and never take the first step. Then I'm not going to move forward, right? I'm not going to be able to achieve my dreams. So I think, to all of the young people who are listening to us today, one of my only strong recommendations would be, go, fail, try, but at least every time you fail, you have another experience. You're learning something more. You will go and do it another way, another time. You will succeed, but you can't stop trying, and you can't be scared of failing. So I think that is actually the most important thing. And honestly, our society is much harder on women when they fail than when they are on men, and we need to change that, right? I mean, a woman may borrow 10,000 rupees and then her business may not work. The family member will find it very easy to say, हमने तो बोला था तेरी बस की बात नहीं है. अरे, आपके बच्चे, आपके बेटे ने भी तो लिए होंगे ना वो 10,000. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि उसने कभी, he's never faced failure. So I think that attitude needs to change, and we need to start respecting that all of us are equal as humans, and we do make mistakes as humans, right? That gender divide as a self needs to kind of be abandoned, and we need to look forward for the next 25 years, where we can, on 100th Independence Day, say, hey, we're genuinely all working together, and it's not an us versus them game anymore.
Well
Wow.
said. Well said.
Very, very well put together, Siddhika. It's all about collaborative, and it's all about empowering communities, right? Okay, we're really running out of time, so we'll come to Alka and then Anupam, to you, and then we can have a round of closing, remarks from each of the panelists. Yes, Alka ji, over to you. What are the solutions that you
Thank you
see
so
that are
much. As I
important?
said,
Sorry,
yes,
sorry.
as I said earlier also, As I said earlier, everything has been said. There's nothing much left to say. But still, I would like to focus on a couple of things. That what's it? Sutika and Pritha was saying that we are looking two-tier and three-tier cities, and these are the reality. I would like to give a more statistics, not a personal statistic, because I like to do little research and study and things, and then come to some kind of conclusion.
Uh,
There
Alka
are
ma'am,
about roughly
sorry,
3,000 cities in second and third.
ma'am, your voice
Yeah,
is not very
can you
clear.
hear
There
me?
is little bit of yeah, it's muffled a little. If you can try to
Can you
adjust your
hear me
mic.
now? Hear me now?
We can, yes.
This is very difficult. Okay. So I said I just a question of research because I come from XLI. So we like to do some feasibility studies, research studies. So then let me give you some figures and then we'll talk about it, how what is happening. In India, there are about 3,000 cities in second and third tier and 6.6 million villages. And only
Wow.
45 cities are which are in the first category city. So 6.65 million villages. What are we thinking about them? I live in a village. I meet them regularly. I interact with them regularly. I meet the Anganwadi workers. I'm working with them. We are doing the survey with them. There are some very basic issues that talk to us about the financial independence. First, they said, give us some very, very basic healthcare. They all are trying to, I mean, when there is one of the most common problem we face is the organic health problem. They said, if we are not feeling health-wise okay, how can we go out of the house to work? Number one. And we have done medical camps. I mean, I have organized person. Very minor gynecological problem, basically vaginal infection, this and that, some food supplements they need, some vitamins, but that is not accessible. Once they want to go out to work, when the body is not allowed to go to the work, what can they do? Number one. Number second, the transport system. They do not have enough transport to go to nearby village or next town. Where I live, the Baghpat is about 6 kilometers. Still, the women have problem because they do not have enough transport to go to the nearby, little towns or little villages. Number third, 99% household in India. They are only 9.8% women own the land in rural India. The rest all belong to the men. So when it comes to the taking the loan, the going to the banks, collateral, this and that, all this start failing. So whatever Pritha and Siddha, they are the realities of the smaller cities where women can fight and the men and women are struggling to put their meal together. In villages, there's a women can go to the farm, can collect some wheat, this and that. The barter system still is very, very active in village life. It might sound a little bit strange, but the most of the food in the villages are brought by women to the border. They go and work, they cut the wheat, they bring the wheat for the whole year. They go and cut, now they will be doing the what they call dhan cutting every. They'll bring the dhan for the whole year. They go and get the fresh vegetables. So that unpaid work is never counted anywhere, but they are the main earner for the food in the villages. I think when you're making some, policy plans, you will keep this in mind that how these benefits which we are talking about here will reach the villages. Third, what they ask us, ma'am, please, can we get some small training in beauty parlor? When we can get some little bit of machine work. The skill development is not there, is zero, almost zero. It may be on the papers, it may be on the policies, maybe on the yojana, but in reality, they are not. Number third, they said, please try to create awareness that the schooling should be cheaper for our children. They don't want to send their children to the government school for whatever reason. We don't want to discuss here. It's a small time. But they said, we are very happy to go out, provided the employer give us some kind of educational benefit that our kids can go to a better school, which is a very, very big economic burden on them. And the family would not support. They said, ठीक है, बच्चा पढ़ाई का पैसा नहीं, घर पे बैठ जाओ. So the problem is over. Truck में चले जाना, गाड़ी चला लेना, गांव में चले जाना. That's okay. So the education is another problem. Number third, at the women, the young girls, what they want, that when they are when the parents are willing to support their basic education at the beginning, why we can't have the skill development at the same time in the school also? So by the time they reach the 8th grade, they are little bit skill developed and they're looking for some kind of employment. Number fifth, I won't make the point for you. Number fifth, that centuries old gender bias. They want some kind of awareness for the men and not they tell it very, very frankly brutally, whatever words you want to use. हमारे आदमियों को समझाइए आप. Because at the end of the day, the girls are beaten today in the villages very brutally, badly. They are raped, and then we call them stakeholders. A woman who has been raped 3 hours ago cannot be a stakeholder. So those are the realities in rural India when we are talking about financial independence and providing them some kind of financial assistance or some gesture towards making them financially independent. These are the factors they would like to win. Then only then they think that they can be able to proceed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alka ji. And I was also looking at the time, so we are actually about to 5 minutes and we need to close this discussion. I'm if I was also thinking if we
I
can.
have tried my best to rise it.
Sorry, ma'am. I couldn't hear you, ma'am. What did you just
I
say?
have tried to summarize as much as possible.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said
no,
I
no.
was as brief as possible.
नहीं, मैं ये कह रहा था अगर आप कुछ मैसेज देना चाहते हैं तो we can start wrapping up also. So with your remarks on Independence Day, any key message that Alka ji you want to give, and then I'll come to Anupam and we can do one quick round with all
Yes, I
panel.
would like to say a couple of things that please provide, yeah, yeah, please provide some kind of primary health care. There should be some focus on women's health, number one. Number two, very basic, simple skill development which is appropriate to rural areas. Not that the skill has been developed in the corporate offices. Just do a little bit of study, what not study even, just to take them on board. उनसे पूछिए आप क्या चाहते हैं, उनका हाथ पकड़िए, दिल थामिए, पूछिए आपको क्या चाहिए, आप कैसे आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. ये बहुत जरूरी है करने के लिए. सिर्फ बड़े बड़े ऑफिस में बैठ के पॉलिसी बना के उन पे लादना ठीक नहीं है. उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स फर्क है और कोई भी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो पैन इंडिया नहीं हो सकती है. ये एक फैक्ट है. व्हाट वुमेन आर डूइंग इन केरला कैनॉट बी डन इन द हरियाणा और बाकी. एंड द थर्ड इज थिंग, इसकी वजह से एजुकेशनल जो वो है उनका क्वेस्ट, उनके बच्चों को बेहतर एजुकेशन मिले फॉर बेटर फ्यूचर स्पेशली फॉर गर्ल्स, should be taken into consideration. The schools are really charging very high in the sectors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alka ji. Anupam, very quickly coming to you, and of course, if you can also keep it brief and also give your, Independence Day message along with this, that would be very helpful. Yes.
So one, I heard some very, very powerful messages from the panelists. One, and many things have been talked about. I'll split the message in two parts. What the individual in a second tier 2, 3, 4 town can do. And I completely agree with what Siddhika was trying to say. It's in your hands. I really believe you step out and try to take some actions. Today, there are a lot of opportunities available. Aapko lena hai, as Chetna ma'am is saying. You want to try something, you want to build the craft faster, yes, there's an opportunity. Avsar aaj hai. I do believe the economy is opened up enough and there is enough seeds in the ground that a person can tap into. So I would not hesitate to encourage everybody who's there out to say, in entrepreneurship, aaj se better aapko chance nahi. Things will improve, but today is as good as any other. That's the first part. Second part I would say is that there is a lot of work to be done. The way I look at it, there's an ecosystem has to support the various things for our people to step up and do different things. The ecosystem is financial independence. The ecosystem is as people become successful, social on change, there are multiple other things. Digital, for example, when we talked about a couple of panelists, it's a force multiplier. जो आप आज नहीं कर सकते, जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नहीं कर सकता है, वो डिजिटल डिवाइड कैन कवर अप इन पार्ट वेज. बिकॉज कल शायद आपको जाके बेचना पड़ता था, आज शायद आज उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे बेच सकते हो, कोई और जाके डिलीवर कर सकता है. So there are multiple things which are falling. The jigsaw in many ways is falling in place. Technically, as technology is definitely a force multiplier or enabler. Finance is another multiplier that is there. Third, Alka madam just talked about education. Primary education is important, and she made a very fundamental interest. I'm willing to pay for good education, and I think again it's a big message I see even in urban places, and there are a lot of people from a strata of society that they so far were forced to send their kids to government institutions, and for whatever reason the education is not up to the mark there. मैं पैसे देने को तैयार हूँ, अच्छा स्कूल होना चाहिए, आप बता दो अच्छा स्कूल कौन सा है. And they ask us, and whatever we can, we find out and try to do that. So I think that's the other pieces. They are looking for an opportunity that the next generation takes this opportunity forward. Lots of C words came into the discussion, and this is my summary in a way, Ashish. Talked about cascade. I am an entrepreneur. I'll build things for other women, people to work with me. We talked about courage. We talked about conviction. We talked about community. This is what I call the ecosystem that really built. Now, my message on this is that, and I go back to this piece is saying, आज हमारे हाथ में अवसर है. There are lots of things going right in the economy. There are lots of things going for tier two, tier three today. What is not possible, I think digital divide has really covered the bridge. Go forward, try it out. There are many people who are willing to support you. The panelists itself, the set of people and the work you're doing itself is a great example of what can happen. All the best.
Okay, thank you, Anupam. And just to wrap up, we've already run out of time, but quick message for our fellow citizens, fellow people who are listening to us on this special Independence Day today. Kantaji, first, I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you, Ashish. Quick 4 points, one for the girls. Uh, uh, दो रास्ते हैं अपने पास, एक है जिल्लत का है, जब आप पैसा नहीं कमाती हैं बहुत फर्क है, और एक जब आप पैसा कमाती हैं उसमें, उस जिंदगी में. Choose it right. Also, fight the right battles. Instead of fighting for a phone, fight for freedom to go out and study or work. आपके पास अगर डिजिटल जो डिवाइस है उसका एक्सेस अगर लिमिटेड टाइम के लिए या डेटा कम है, तो इंस्टेड ऑफ स्पेंडिंग टाइम ऑन व्हाट्सएप, स्पेंड टाइम टू लर्न. और आखिरी हम सब के लिए है कि ये बहुत ज़रूरी है आज के दिन. 75 ईयर्स हम बात करते हैं कि हमारे देश में शांति और एकता दोनों बनी रहे, so that all of us, including the marginalized communities, especially them, are able to realize their full potential and full right, because this is very critical for everyone, not just for themselves, but the whole country. We need to stay united. We need to stay peaceful. And that's my message to everyone, young people, particularly now. There's no dearth of role models today. आप छोटे शहरों से लड़कियां पायलट्स हैं, छोटे शहरों से लड़कियां कॉमनवेल्थ चैंपियंस हैं. आपको प्रेरणा की आवश्यकता के लिए बाहर नहीं ढूंढने जाना पड़ेगा, यही है, जरा नजर उठा के देखिए. बधाई हो सबको फिर से स्वतंत्रता दिवस की. And let's continue to preserve our values, our unity, our peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kanta ma'am. Chetna ma'am, आपका मैसेज.
सो आज़ादी के अमृत महोत्सव पे मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि महिलाओं के एक शुरुआत हो गई है. कि हम लोग बहुत स्टार्टअप्स की वगैरह बात करते हैं ना, विमेन ओन बिजनेस स्टार्टअप्स, और तो ये शुरुआत हो गई है महिलाओं के विमेन ओन बिजनेस की, विमेन ओन एंटरप्राइज की. अब ये शुरुआत हम आज़ादी के अमृत महोत्सव पे कर रहे हैं, और मुझे ये भरोसा है, एंड आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट that I know that only 2% of startups are owned by women. Why don't we take it to 200%? And so the women will own more than 200% of startups. And I think अगर ये हुआ तो 5 trillion economy बनने में कोई time नहीं लगेगा. And we'll be able to create millions and millions jobs.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chetna ji. Pritha, your quick message.
Yeah. So I'm going to copy Alka, and I'm going to give 2 data points, especially for tier 2, tier 3. और ये Ministry of Commerce and Industry का 2 दिन पहले का आंकड़े हैं. 50% of the recognized startups अभी tier 2, tier 3 से शुरू हो रही हैं. तो जो चेतना मैडम ने अभी बोला वो tier 2, tier 3, so pat yourself on the back जो आप लोग सुन रहे हैं या outside. और दूसरा है ये 2020 का है इंडिया लैंड सर्वे. 22% ऑफ विमेन इन टियर 2, टियर 3 सिटीज टेक लोन कंपेयर टू 12% इन द टियर 1. तो दोनों ही स्ट्रॉन्ग आंकड़े हैं. मेरे को देयर आर अ होल लॉट ऑफ आज की तारीख में रैली क्राई जो हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैज टॉक्ड अबाउट. आई थिंक दिस इज द टाइम, और ये सभी कह रहे हैं. तो ये आज़ादी के अमृत महोत्सव में मैं बोलूँगी आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाना, becoming job creators rather than job givers rather than just job takers. ये मौका है. For men, I will say, चाहे आप भाई हैं, husband हैं, brother हैं, see the woman that you can support, whether that's your wife, your daughter, or your mother. If you're a man, if you're a girl, if you're a woman, do not hide under कि कहाँ से मौका मिलेगा, कहाँ से पैसे मिलेंगे, मेरे घर वाले, whatever. There is enough opportunity. जैसे कांता जी ने बोला, जस्ट फाइंड आउट, अगर आप सिर्फ नेट पे भी सर्च करें आपको मिलेगा। और नॉट जस्ट हियर ऑन द पैनल, बहुत सारी महिलाएं हैं एंड इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं जो सपोर्ट कर रही हैं। आप छोटा सा ही शुरू करें, लेकिन करें। डू नॉट थिंक ये कि मेरे पास ये रोड़े हैं, नन ऑफ इट इज रोड़ा। So I will say that's the wish that I have. Next 25 years more, we shall be कंधे से कंधे। बहुत बधाई हो सबको।
Inshallah.
Thank you. Siddhika.
I think I have a very small, simple message. And, on this Independence Day, we just all need to be proud of what we're doing. Feel proud. Let go of everything that holds you back. Because I think, we're a country where so many times, and I speak to our women who come on Mahila Money myself, and I love speaking to them. When I ask them, "Aap kya karte ho?" Very proudly, they say, "हम homemakers हैं." I was like, "आपने तो business loan के लिए apply किया है." "हाँ मैम, हम काम भी करते हैं." Be proud. It doesn't matter. We play multiple roles, and there is nothing to shy away from the fact that we're homemakers, we're wives, we're parents. And that's a part of our lives. We should be proud to be able to say we can handle all of it and we can do better, right? So I think my only message is don't shy away, don't conform to social norms, grow above that, come beyond that, and just be proud.
Beautiful. It's a great occasion to feel that sense of pride, and I think that gives us a lot of confidence to kind of even go further in the future and create a better future for all of us. Alka ji, quick message from you, please.
This time, no statistics. I have very simple things to say. That any opportunity of learning, don't miss it. Be it a very small, be it a big. Even if you have to learn the stitching or anything, come forward. Educate yourself, empower yourself, skill yourself, empower yourself. Anything come on your way where you think that you can learn, come forward. And to my brothers, fathers, husbands, men, you cannot pull 100% population anymore. आदमी होने का जो गुरूर है वो साइड में रखिए, जो ईगो है साइड में रखिए. Support your wife, your sister, your daughters. I know it's very difficult. I know being a man, you have been leading the whole show for centuries, not centuries, from millennium, but time has come that the situation we are today, it is because that we have not been giving enough. We are equal, but we have not been treated equally. I would say one sentence which Mother Teresa told me long ago, not told me, I was in an interview, and I asked a very, very naive question because I was not sensitive because I was in my early 20s. I was working for United News of India. I asked Mother, do you think the woman is equipped to become priest? That was a very, very naive question because it is not allowed at that time in Catholicism. She did not answer, but she said, the way woman is better and emotionally equipped to become, to hold the society. We are more capable, we are more emotionally stable, we can do anything what nobody else can do in this world. Of course, she was summoned by Pope later on for saying so, because she used the word the woman is better equipped to become priest, but that is the reality, that we are better equipped. We can hold so many roles in one day that men cannot do that. And that's the reality.
Thank you.
Ashish and Anupam, don't feel bad. You are included as part of the enlightened, proper. Don't feel bad.
No, absolutely not.
I don't feel bad at all.
We couldn't exist without a woman in the world. So absolutely.
I have a small message for Anupam and Ashish that आप अपना गुरु रख के हमारे पैनल में आए. Very welcome.
Yeah, I'm very proud of to be part of this panel, ma'am. My thought on this is that this is the 75th year of our independence. It's a really proud moment for all of us, and there are lots of women and men actually contributed significantly to make this happen, and we're progressing many years. Really, it's a proud moment for us to be at this juncture. It's a momentous occasion in a way, and multiple things still has to go forward for us. For women, I would say in closing part one, I do agree that men have to play a big role, and where they have to start being the enabler in the ecosystem. As I was speaking about it earlier, they can be a big enablers for women to step out and do lots of things, whether it's a child, a student, a mother, or whatever. And that's we have to be conscious of as we go forward. My message is simple for especially for women. While it may sound like a religious flavor, but हमारे यहाँ women को शक्ति भी देखा गया है. As a society, we also see them that they have the power to do what they want and they can try. And my message to you is, वो शक्ति आपके पास है. The conviction is there, and we have seen the panel here itself is very powerful for us to communicate that. Take that on, and go ahead. There are many things. There are, as I say, when you try something, lots of things fall in your path to make it possible. And there are things that are going to happen today. That's my only message from my heart. Go try. There will be enablers that will support you on the way.
Thank you so much, Anupam. I think very, very nice way to sum up that when you take one step, universe also comes that take that 2 steps. But I think women have already taken that step. Now, I think we need to take bigger steps and take these next 25 years, next 100 years, next so many years be a lot better for all our women and creating that supportive ecosystem like one of the panelists talked about for enabling more and more women to be not just be financially independent, but in an independent be in so many ways, right? So I couldn't be more, I think, humbled and grateful today on behalf of MASH and Dailyhunt to each one of you for taking our time. I know we've kind of exceeded our time, but I wish we had more and more time. But there's so much to take away. I was personally like truly with listening to each one of you felt like so inspired today, and it's been a true honor to moderate this discussion today. So thank you once again and wish you all a very happy Independence Day. And we definitely look forward to work with each one of you in kind of creating that impact that we really envisioned for all of us. So thank you so much. See you.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you,
Thanks a
Ashish.
lot.
Wonderful the way
Thank
that
you
you
for
organized this and steered this discussion.
Thank
Lovely.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Independence Day. Thank you.